All right, so the hype train for Hellblade 2 is officially ramping up as the game is set to release May 21st. Stop me if you stop me if you heard this before. Xbox 30 frames per second on console, pissed off fans. Every game releasing for Xbox that's like their main pillar games, the games that everybody is super hyped for, always gets marred by negative press. We've seen this multiple times over with Starfield. We see it with games like Hi-Fi Rush, how it's like runs faster on other consoles, blah blah blah. We see it with Redfall and again, we can go on and on and on about the frames, the console, Xbox Series S and X not being up to snuff to modern gaming. Um and I think again we're gonna see it again with Hellblade 2. It's been officially announced that it's gonna be 30 frames per second on the Xbox Series X and S, 60 frames on PC. This one is a big blow to a lot of people. A lot of people were expecting Hellblade 2 to be a runaway hit, game of the year 2024, etc., etc. This was gonna be Xbox's PlayStation style game. And I said it earlier this year that Hellblade 2 was not going to be that. Hellblade 2 wasn't going to be a game to sell consoles. Hellblade 2 was going to be a very niche title for a very select audience. Unfortunately, that select audience typically is a more, hardcore gaming audience that prefers frames over graphics, prefers frames over cinematics. Ninja Theory's like head developer or whatever went on to say that they opted for 30 frames per second to make the game feel more cinematic. They do the whole referencing movies where if you have the frames move too fast, it kind of messes with the flow of the movie, blah blah blah. It's such a tired old trope that does not work in modern gaming. I think when you look at the king of cinematic gaming, PlayStation, right, with Naughty Dogs, Santa Monica Studios, etc., they have nailed cinematics. They've nailed accessibility options. They've nailed things like performance modes and graphic modes, etc. And when you look at Hellblade 2, don't get me wrong, the game looks amazing. The gameplay is super gonna, still, it's very, one on one battles, etc. I don't think this game necessarily needs 60 frames. If I'm being 100% honest, based off of what I seen and heard about Hellblade 2, based off of the original game, I don't think I really cared about 60 frames per second for this game, to be honest. That's just me. What I feel like this is a problem with it though is the optics of Xbox. I think Xbox has an image problem. They have a problem where no one really knows what to think of them, minus negativity. Every single game releasing is being marred with some type of negative press by their own doing, right? Some people like to have the narrative that Xbox is getting bullied by gamers and critics and blah, blah, blah. But really, that's not the case. Xbox does this to themselves and they make themselves easy targets for ridicule. Hellblade 2, by all accounts, is a game that doesn't necessarily need to be 30 frames. But I think when you have Ninja Theory go out there and say it's going to be 30 frames for cinematic reasons, blah, 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 who are you talking to with this one? You know Hellblade 2 is a game for the hardcore audiences. You need to stick to the truths of the matter. And if that was the case, if this game really needed to be 30 frames per second, then you would cap it at 30 frames on PC. But that's not the case. And the truth of the matter is that the Xbox console has an image problem of being the budget system, right? You see the Xbox Series S outselling the Xbox Series X. You see multiple times over games released in the worst possible condition on Xbox. And you're starting to see first party titles really kind of just being rushed out the door, missing gameplay features, missing accessibility options, missing performance modes, stuff that when you look at PlayStation 5, where they're slowly trickling out their games, right? Like everyone's like, where's the games? But when the games land, you get Spider Man 2 that has 30 frames, 45 frames, 60 frames. You have hearing options and all these different options to play the game however you want to play it and tweak it to really, fit the way you want to play, blah, blah, blah. Again, when that's your competitor, PlayStation knows that they're the luxury brand. They know that they're the premier gaming experience, right? And Nintendo's the fun people, right? The family friendly oriented Mario is fun for everybody type of gamer. Xbox is starting to paint the image that they're the budget gaming console. They're the budget title, right? If you don't care about how you play the game and you kind of just want to play the game by any means, you get the Xbox, right? And this is a different image that I think a lot of hardcore gamers aren't used to from Xbox. When you look back and you think of the Xbox 360, especially in the early days of the 360, the best experiences were done on 360. They were the first ones to do like modern day graphics, modern day gaming happened first with Xbox. They were the first to do, online gaming, right? Really well. Like when you think of like early days of Halo, early days of Gears multiplayer, early days of Call of Duty, all of that was done on Xbox. Xbox used to be a trendsetter, and now they no longer set trends. They don't even follow through with trends, right? Because performance mode, I think, is a 2024 trend in gaming, not just from first party, but from a lot of third party. And Xbox is failing to hit the mark time after time after time. And it's one of those things that I feel like Xbox right now is kind of grasping for straws. They're trying to be like we're the gaming console for everybody, but really when you do that, you're the gaming console for nobody. Gaming, as widespread as it is, as popular as it is still a niche hobby for hobbyists, right? Not everybody is gonna pick up every game. And when you look at a game like Hellblade 2, this is the niche of the first parties of Xbox's offerings. They had to nail this one, not just from what the game is, but from the PR of it all. I think this is a game a lot of people are looking at in 2024 as potentially a game of the year contender. Not me, but a lot of people were. And again, when you're going into it with that negativity, it doesn't help your brand and it actually just ends up hurting your brand. Xbox a while ago, a couple years ago, was the console with no games. Now they're the console with inferior games, which isn't any better. And unless Xbox really rights their ship, I don't see this changing. The and to be honest, I don't really care. Like I'm not a primary Xbox gamer. I play Xbox games whenever I get the chance. Still have yet to actually gone through and bought the console because again, I just don't see the reason yet. Um, so it doesn't necessarily affect me what Xbox does with their imaging, with their PR, etc. Um, the thing that kind of bothers me is some Xbox like cultists who are mad about stuff like this when it happens time after time after time. I think people need to start being more realistic with what Xbox is in 2024, and that is the budget gaming console. If you want games to just kind of play on a machine for the cheapest way possible, that's Xbox. I think last month or last year, whatever, I read this number where it showed the top 5 games for every console. And every console has some type of like hardcore game exclusive to their platform, whether it be Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, etc. Xbox didn't really have that. They had like a lot of online free to play type games, things like Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft. Now, obviously, those are big games in and of themselves, right? You'll find them across all lists. But the fact that that Xbox's 5 games weren't, not one of them was Xbox. They were all just free to play games for, I'm gonna be honest, children. And it's starting to paint the picture that Xbox, again, it's the console you buy for your kid because it's the cheapest way to buy them games. Or it's the more, economically friendly gamers that are picking up Xbox and playing on Game Pass. Which again, there's no shame in that. I think there's a place in the market for that. But it's not the place that leads the gaming space. It's not the place that some of these gaming Xbox hardcore fans want it to be. And you need to just learn to accept that this is what Xbox is. And I think that'll help Xbox's PR when we stop expecting these games to run at 60 from Xbox and we just accept the fact that these games are going to run on 30. These games aren't going to be exclusive forever on Xbox. These games will probably run better on PC. Um, I think once we just come to grasp with that, I think Xbox would be in a better place, if I'm being honest. I've come to grasp with that. I don't care that Hellblade 2 is 30 frames because I was expecting it. I'm expecting every first party Xbox game to be 30 frames per second, and it'll be a nice surprise when it's not. That's my take on it. Hellblade 2, it looks like a great game by all accounts. I will be checking it out when it releases. Maybe not day one, but I will check it out sometime eventually. Overall, those are my final thoughts on it. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't know if it's a take at all. It's just my opinion while as I see it kind of circulating through the internet. Um, if you're checking out Hellblade 2, if you're not because of 30 frames per second, let me know down below your guys' thoughts on the topic. I am way off base with this one. It is what it is. It's just my opinions on Xbox, I guess. I'm gonna just leave the video there. Go out there, play some games, touch grass, have fun. See you guys on the next one.